Hello, everyone, and welcome to Elevate Your Business. I'm Ed Jurecki, and I'm thrilled to guide you through today's episode. Our mission? To inspire and empower you on your journey toward business success by delving into valuable insights and strategies to elevate your entrepreneurial experience. Today, we have Dan Cheadle, president of Price Point Card and Preferred Vendor Group, LLC, who has been a trailblazer in the small business and real estate sectors for over 2 decades. From pioneering virtual reality with ERI Excell Realty Inc. to launching innovative solutions like AdvantageML and Local Community Blast, Dan is here to share his insights on entrepreneurship and community-driven success. So join me in welcoming Dan Cheadle to the show. Dan, it's wonderful to see you again. How are you
Thanks,
doing?
Ed. Absolutely. Absolutely. We're having an amazing fall in Michigan. So we are blessed. We're blessed to be in Michigan, contrary to what's going on in other parts of the country. So our hearts go out to all of those people. Before we get started, I just want to say, hey, I'm sending out prayers and blessings to anybody that's listening to this right now that, man, our hearts go out to the south part of our country. So amen to that. So
100%. So thank
thanks,
you.
Ed. Glad to be here.
So to start with, could you share a little bit more about yourself and your business for our audience?
Yeah, you kind of hit on a couple bullets there. Been an entrepreneur my entire life. I'm a golfing crazy nut. I love golfing and I took a little trip to Myrtle Beach for a conference. And while I was there, I learned about the fun stuff that's going on in Myrtle Beach. So I thought, hey, I think I'll get my teaching license for golf. And I did and kept that for almost 30 years. So love to do that. In the process, I'm surrounded by some amazing friends and family, and so been in real estate since 1985, and also a real estate broker. Have a real estate company called Advantage One Realty with 25 agents. We're doing okay in Michigan. And then while I was on one of my many golfing expeditions with some of my high school buddies, they decided to corner me into being a private silent investor in one of their printing ventures. And I always tell people these guys are brilliant. They're smart. My high school buddies were the guys that took calculus and trigonometry. And I was a guy that I barely made it to algebra 2. So then I switched over to basket weaving in gym class. And so, that tells you a little bit about me. I'm super blessed to have friends like this. And they've taken our company, which is LCB Rewards, and turned it into a printing operation. It's in 8 states. We've got 12 operations. We're actually going to be buying out another operation pretty soon. And that's spun off for me my joy of being able to market behind the scenes and be involved in different entrepreneurial things. Real shortly, my dream has always been, what can I do to help other people? What can I do to help other small businesses? And this has given me the platform to be able to help a lot of small businesses over the years. It's been a blast.
Standing. And so, how do you define success today?
Wow, that's a good one because that's so broad. But success to me is number one is really truly you're defined by success by how you are in your family, in your circle of friends and family. I hate to put it this way, but if you put money first, and you can chase the almighty dollar all over the place, right? And you can have all kinds of fun and adventure, but that to me isn't really truly success. Success is really finding true happiness in your family circle, in your friends, and enjoying life with those people. That's truly to me what real success is. It's not about the toys and the stuff that you have. Now, outside of that, that's my belief. That's my belief system. I think that success can also be defined by how you treat people and how I always say that, the day that I die, I want to know how many people are going to show up in my funeral. And that's going to tell me, I won't probably be there to see. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll be like floating around going, hey, Bob, hey, Jerry. But the truth is going to be, I think that's really what defines a man, right? Is how does he take care of his family? How does he take care of his friends? How does he give to the community? How does he give back? Because it comes back to you tenfold, right? And then, let's put it this way, is that when you finally die, how many people are going to show up that are going to be, really grieving your loss? And so if I can leave this void, that's not a good thing, but in a way that kind of, to me, that's the true meaning of success.
So, for many out there, there's a tremendous transition through the many rounds around the block that we march, right? And so that definition evolves over time. For you, has it evolved? And if so, how?
Yeah, it has. Boy, I'll admit that, when I was younger, when I was in my 20s and 30s, I was pretty much shooting from the hip. I made a lot of bad decisions. Every entrepreneur has. The difference, I think, the defining moment for me is that, like so many successful people that have made bad decisions that they could go back and change them, they would, and I would too. But you learn from all those mistakes, right? And so one of the things that I've learned and I've evolved into in terms of my decision making is taking more time to make better decisions. I have this belief that God gave us this incredible brain, and it's a tool, right? It's an incredible tool. And I've heard many, many people, I think even Einstein said that, we only use 10% of our real power of our brain. And so when you slow down and realize that I've got this incredible gift of a brain, stop taking it for granted and start learning how to maybe use it and apply it better in decision making. And part of those decision makings, things that I do now is I don't make my decisions pretty much on my own. I'm surrounded by wonderful people that I can go to and say, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? And that in of itself has made a huge difference for me. It's just been able to create a surrounding of people that I can rely on to go and make decisions with. So I'm a team player. When I was in high school, I played basketball, and it wasn't about being the top scoring guy on the team. It was, and I set a school record for assists because I was more happy to pass the ball off to a guy and hopefully he could make the points. And I got the credit for the assist, but you're not the hero in the game. The hero in the game is the guy that scores all the points. But I enjoy being part of a team and being able to do that. That has transferred into my adulthood, and where I'm at today is building a team of really sound people that I can go to as part of my team and make decisions.
Standing. And of course, you kind of started to allude to this, but this journey is never easy. There's always major challenges and lessons learned associated with them. So, what are one or two of those key challenges that you'd like to pass along to our audience and the associated lessons learned?
Key challenges are always going to be, I think, fundamental in any business. And I think we're speaking mostly to like a small business person, right? The big challenges that I have always run into is time, time management, being organized. I am a little bit AD. But I think that defines a lot there. And I think if I'm talking to you, I'm talking about at least 80% of our audience is ADD if you're an entrepreneur. We always have that shiny penny syndrome, right? Here's the next great idea. And I love that. Well, I have to learn how to temper that, right? And I have to go, okay, great idea and everything, but I set some goals right here in front of me that I've got to make sure that I achieve, and I can't let the shiny penny that's come along distract me from those goals, as good of an idea as it might be. So there's a place for everything, and I think that that's been my challenge, and I think it's a lot of people's challenges. How do we stay organized? How do we keep our ADD in check? And those are things that I've struggled with. Those are things that I think everybody struggles with. And I think the key to that goes back to I've got to have people I can go to say, hey, I need you to sit down with me and say, I'm looking at this idea and I need you to tell me, Dan, no, you set some goals over here. We're going to stay on track, right? That's probably for me a big one. But I think it's true for a lot of people.
I absolutely agree with you. And so when you take a look at innovation, how are you leveraging that? And kind of alluding back to what you've referenced before, time is always a major challenge. Is innovation one of the entities or one of the ways in which you kind of manage that? If so, how?
Well, you nailed me on that one, Ed, because I'm old school. I truly am. And I think you're kind of hinting a little bit at, when you say innovation, there's a lot of things that have come out in the years like CRMs, right? I think there's some really great programs out there for CRM to stay organized. If you don't have a CRM, I do like that. I do think that it beats an Excel spreadsheet. Having a good CRM, if you're a small business person and you're involved in a lot of different facets. You're probably wearing 15 different hats. How do you keep all those hats separate? How do you keep them all organized? And I think a good CRM program is really good. And there's some really, really good ones out there. I mean, and some of them are even free that will, it's better than nothing, right? So I think that that's a good thing to kind of point yourself towards in terms of staying organized, following up with contacts that you have. I mean, one of the biggest lessons that I had when I was younger was follow up. When you're an entrepreneur, you're getting hit so many different directions by so many different people wanting things or needing things from you. And so, how do you decipher what those priorities are? But if you have a good CRM program that you can load those things in and just say, okay, today these are my follow up people that I got to follow up with, I think a CRM program will help you there. Am I a big believer in AI today? The jury is out. I think that AI is really making some big changes when it comes to innovation. And I think there's a place for AI. I'm really not sure yet. I have to wait and see. I think that I think AI could be the next big distraction. It could be the next thing that maybe gets us off our target. Because I think that when you build a business, there are some fundamental things that are in place. It's marketing, it's follow up with all your contacts, generating leads for your business, whether they're customers or leads. And then what is your marketing system and building a system. And you don't necessarily need AI for that. So I don't think you have to freak out and say, oh my God, AI is going to change everything. Am I even going to stay in business? I think if you're able to stay focused on your business and create a system, okay, this is my marketing system, this is what I got to do, and making sure that you're following up with all your contacts. I think today that's one of the biggest things I'm seeing small business people do is not follow up. And that's a big one. So back to your question with innovation and all of those things, I think it comes back to just make sure that I'm big on SIPKIS, right? You know, see it big, keep it simple. I think that's something that we all forget. And I think that keep it simple, keep your system in place, and just focus on what are my income activities? What are my income producing activities every single day, right? And so if I can stay on track with that kind of thinking, then I'll do okay.
Final takeaway for our audience. If there's one thing that you would share with them to say you must consider this as part of your business and life success, what would that be?
I am a big believer in business consultants. I think that there is a huge place for, and it goes back to what I've been saying. My theme here is I tell people every single day when I come in touch with people, Ed, that who are you consulting with? Who's your consultant? Who's your mentor, right? You could call it a mentor, you could call it a business consultant, you could call it a business strategist. To me, they're all one and the same. They all help you to stay on track. A business consultant could be one of the best things that you could do in your businesses. Go find a business consultant, hire them, work out a deal to pay them because they're going to be able to bring resources to you that you don't know about. Right now, that's a good business consultant. So you got to be really careful not to get hooked up with somebody that doesn't have resources and a way to direct you towards different things that you might need in your business. But a good business consultant is going to have a lot of resources. They're going to have a lot of people in their back pocket that think, hey, I know a guy that we could bring to the table that could help us do this with marketing. Or I know a guy that I could bring to the table that will help us do this with your direct mail or whatever. So I think that's really critical. It's a huge investment. Build a team. Don't be the one-all guy that can just be a walking corporation. Somewhere along the lines, you got to start learning how to delegate and you got to start learning how to bring people in and build your team and start with a business consultant.
Love it. Some wonderful messages with it. And definitely explore the topic of AI at some point a little bit further because it is going to be a game changer around the world. But there are pros and cons to it, as many people out there have stated. And I agree. I think there's some security challenges out there. But I'd also just comment on that if you're a small to mid-sized business owner and you're not considering very targeted solutions for your business, you may be putting yourself at a disadvantage because the Goliaths out there are doing it. And the expectation of how fast we get things done and the quality of the work that we're producing is growing because these AI tools are enabling that productivity and that quality improvement. So outstanding messages. Thank you for that. Any
Yeah,
final thoughts?
absolutely.
Any final thoughts?
Any final thoughts? Hey, I think this has been fun, and I hope that people really pay attention to what we're saying here. I think that it's critical. Number one, start thinking in terms of building your business with a team of people. How can I build a team of people with my business? How can I find a really good business consultant that could help me? Because I think decision making today more than ever, and I'm finding that even what I do, decision making is more complex than it used to be 20, 30 years ago. So find some good people that have good resources that can help you build your business. That would really be number one.
Wonderful message. I want to thank you for joining us today with a special thanks to Dan Cheadle for sharing his insights and success tactics. We hope you feel inspired and motivated to tackle entrepreneurial challenges with innovation and adaptability. Remember, success is personal. Define it for yourself. But always remember, embrace change, seek growth, and adapt to the ever-evolving business landscape. Thanks again to Dan and to all of our listeners, and we'll see you next time as we continue exploring more stories from incredible entrepreneurs. Stay resilient, stay innovative, and have a wonderful day, everyone.
Great. Thanks, Ed.